Red Alert, Operation Red Dawn is in full effect. No matter who you are or where you are, it's happening, y'all. It's falling. You're seeing stuff crash all around you. Banks, economy system crash all around you. And you better hope and you better pray that you got your stuff together, my friend. Now, you're in the beginning of World War III, and it's a big, bad world out there, and a dragon and a Russian bear is coming to get your tail. Things are heating up. But you have China. You guys know this ever since Putin and Xi met up. All hell's been breaking loose out there, y'all. So stuff's heating up, y'all. If you ask me, the BRICS nations, things popping off over in Syria. Missile slam into a U.S. base in Syria after Biden's retaliation. So what happened at first? The bad guys, I guess, struck, or so they say. Doug Brandon had to do his thing. Got out the stuff and got rough. So, but now Iran done clapped back. Missile slam into another U.S. base in Syria after Biden's retaliation. We have a report from the front lines. Missile slam into another U.S. base in Syria after Biden's retaliation. Iran-backed fighters fired 3 missiles at a U.S. military base in northeast Syria today after President Biden launched a series of retaliatory airstrikes in response to a deadly Iranian drone attack that killed an American contractor. Iran-backed groups targeted the U.S. base at the Al Omar oil field in Syria's northeast with a missile attack at around 11 a.m. on Friday morning. 2 missiles fell in the oil field without causing damage, while the third landed on a civilian house nearby, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said. You got China, Russia, now to Iran. Y'all better find your happy place, because you never know. So what is a happy place? Think of it as your escape pod. Think of it as a life raft if your Titanic is sinking. Think of it as a detachable panic room away from home. It's not your bug out location if you have to get out of Dodge. It's just a place to gather your thoughts, get yourself together, use for a night or two, and then move on to your bug out location. Everybody should have one. Man, woman, child, or the other, my brother. Everybody should have one. I hope you have a plan, because people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. Now, in a SHTF situation, if the fit hit the shan, do you have a plan, my man? My man didn't plan to fail. He just failed to plan. Do you have some place to go just in case the bad guys come and you have to run and hide? Do you have a place to go off the beaten path where no one can find you? In a SHTF situation, if the fit hit the shan, do you have a place to go? Just in case a SHTF situation ever popped off, do you have a plan what you should do? Now, you want to try to remain in your house, but it's not up to you. Sometimes things might dictate what you have to do. Regardless, you should have some place to run, someplace I like to call a happy place, someplace you can go and escape to. Monitor, see what traffic is like, go out there at different times. Could be at night, could be early in the morning, different times. Try to stay out of people's vision as much as you can, my man. I say national parks and state parks is you pay your taxes. You have every right to be there just like the next man. So just make sure you don't trespass on somebody's property. Now, you gotta see what's gonna go happen. Of course, if the thermonuclear weapons, y'all, fall, you might have to stay put and you might not even be there. You might just see a flash and you just wake up on the other side. But find a place, monitor the traffic, go there different times as much as you can. Leave your electronics at home. A lot of new cars, they will tell you right where you're going. So just keep that in mind. If you got one, just keep it in mind. You might want to switch up or do whatever. You might have to take a Meemaw's call, y'all. So you feel me? So just think of other ways. Get a map for the area. Get out and get to know the area. I don't even care if you already got a bug out location. Find another happy place. Take stuff out there. Take some stuff, just throw in a garbage bag to protect it from the water. Throw some stuff in a pillowcase, some water, can, spoon. Set it out someplace. See if somebody discovers it. Throw it behind a rock. Make a sketch to where you leave it at. Make notes yourself, detailed notes to where you leave things at, and see if somebody disturbs the stuff. Get some stuff, put it in a pillowcase, just lay it on the side, put it behind a big, gigantic rock. Just make sure you know where it is. Put it behind a big, gigantic rock. Just make sure you can find it. If you have to take a pen and a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper, write yourself directions to it. Make sure you understand those directions. Repeat them back to yourself. Draw the area. It's best just make a sketch of where that is and just see if it's gone. Go back 2 weeks later and see if it can take a picture or whatever. Don't want to take in electronics, but just see if it's gone. That way you know that it's probably not safe in the area. You might have to pick another area. Dig a hole, throw some stuff in it. Check its condition in a couple months after a heavy rainstorm. Find a happy place and make sure you equip that happy place the right supplies. You can be out in Arizona and your happy place is that old deserted house in the desert. Equip it with water. You know you need water in the desert. You can have several spots. Your happy place can be down the block. It could be 5 miles away, 10. Might just be a forward base of operations point for you to move on to your more permanent location. Make sure you have your essentials. A water filter, one of those life straws is good. Make sure you know how to use it. Make sure you do your homework and learn how to use it correctly. Because if you use the life straw, use it wrong, the life straw, well, it's bye-bye, y'all. Bacteria to your guts. So find your happy place. Maybe put up a trail cam or some other monitor device. Make sure you obey all your state, federal, local laws in the area. Don't come as he does. Now I recommend you stay at home, but you might have to get out of Dodge. And the way I figure, you got two choices. You can get out as fast as possible if you gotta go somewhere, depending on what happens. If you have to move, if you have to go over the hill through the woods to grandmother's house, you might have to beat the horde. Don't act like you're gonna be Mr. Flash trying to get to the area if something bad goes down. Most likely you can get out right now. You better start making plans, cause it's gonna get real raw out here on these streets, y'all. You need to think of where you're going to go. And if you got to go, get there. A lot of people have jobs. They're like, man, I can't drop everything now. You best make a better plan. You might have to put some pep in your step, homeboy. Now, I don't recommend if you can. All your stuff is at home. That's what I'm saying to you. Listen, I don't recommend you just run out and try to find a place in the woods and live there. You want to. It's very hard. If you don't have no practice, it's hard even if you have practice. You can think you're all that and a bag of chips. Then you got found with a permanent frown, face down with your booty crack up. There might be martial law in effect. You might can't move on that interstate or a certain highway. But after the medicine and the food starts running out and all the bodies start piling up, people are going to start moving around. That might be a sign for you that you have to go. So you best be careful out there, folks. Last thing you want to do, but you always want to have a plan A or a plan B or a plan C. And that's your happy place. Put some other provisions in other places. Medications, food, and water. Extra clothing, sleeping bag, whatever you might need to get on by. Because you got to try to make it, son. Find a place you can go just in case you got to get out of Dodge. Your best thing is stay where all your stuff is and see what's happening. But your communications is going to be limited. Remember that. Information is going to be hard to come by if all the phones go down. If nothing's being reported on your television. Radios could be out. You never know, y'all. And you might just go blank and fade off into the darkness. But you better hope you got your stuff together now. The more people you take to your happy place is better because you have to sleep at night if you plan on staying there. Now, remember, you want to try to have somebody with you. You could use a dog. Dogs come in handy. Just make sure the dogs are quiet because you got to sleep and you're going to need someone to wake you up and alert you. So it's very hard to do this by yourself. This might be just a forward operation base where maybe this is 5 miles from where you are, maybe it's 10, maybe it's 15. Get in your car and drive out something. Maybe you would have to think about a place you would have to walk to. Maybe if it's hours and hours, just make sure you get out of Dodge. That's all I'm saying. So if it's your whole family, it's your whole family. But if you go to a place like this, maybe you go up there every day this summer and just put 8 or 9 provision boxes to yourself and learn how to get there with no electronics or nothing, and just learn the land. Just in case you got to get out of Dodge, get yourself a map. And this is if you have a bug out location, or this is if you don't have a bug out location. Anybody can do this. If you're in a city, go to the edge of the city. Go to the broken down warehouses. The way cities is looking nowadays ain't looking too good, if you ask me. Go to the old abandoned house outside of town, but make sure you got your ear to the ground and somebody comes sneaking up on you, y'all. That's why sometimes I kind of recommend you have somebody with you, because you gotta sleep, y'all. You gotta sleep. Remember that. Not more the merrier, because sometimes loose lips sink ships, and you don't want to go down with the boat, Captain. Even if you got a spot, find a new spot, add it, take some food, whatever you got to do to get on by. Sly, learn the land, take a map. Operation Red Dawn is in effect. So identify a place. You never know when you got to go. You can be overran. Your house can get overrun. Your neighborhood could get overrun. You might use your happy place for a forward base of operations just to move on to your next route. You might not be there permanently, but it might be a place where you could hold up for a day or so. Make sure you don't have the eyes on you, y'all. People put up trail cams all the time, and the freaks come out at night, and they're ready to bite. So make sure you're aware of that. You might be looking out for somebody, and you put up your trail cam, but there could be a trail cam staring right back at you, folks. Remember that. You might think you're incognito on the sneak tip, but somebody puts up a trail cam. So remember that. If you have to go in with your face covered in certain areas, make sure you do that. Now, unfortunately, you're seeing out in Ukraine, and if something goes down, it's going to be the drone wars. I'm going to call them the drone wars. You can see out in Ukraine how Ukraine and Russia, they're using drones. So make sure if you get a drone, make sure you can't be seen from above. Remember that. Make sure you're concealing yourself from above. And if it takes you to get a drone to know that, make sure you know that. If you can be seen, if your area is not properly camouflaged. Everybody keeps wondering, when's this going to start? It's already started. You best get the move on and get the jump on, everybody, or you might be playing yourself. Don't play yourself, y'all. So identify a happy place somewhere off the beaten path. If you have a significant other that ain't down with the program, don't tell them. Make sure you don't have eyes on you, y'all. Now, you may be saying to yourself, why do I need a place such as this? I'm a good person. I don't do anything wrong. You might have the bad people coming at you, folks. You might be like Mary Poppins, but there's a cruel world out there, and the mean guys might try to find you when you hide. So you can do everything right, and they know your every move through your algorithm. Just remember that. You might not be a bad guy. You might not do nothing wrong, but there's people that are bad guys and do stuff wrong, and they could be coming for you. So just to sum everything out, during an SHTF situation, find yourself a happy place. Identify that old broken down house at the edge of the woods on the outskirts of town. Make sure you monitor this situation. Go there all different times. You can set up trail cams to monitor traffic. See how people move in and out that area. And then provide yourself provisions around that area. You never know when you got to get out of Dodge. You should stay at your more permanent house first. But you never know when you got to go. So you can use that happy place for a further jump off point, or for a forward base of operations where you got to do your thing, or just lay low and get back to your other place. National state parks, and the reason why is because you look like an everyday backpacker. You have reasons to be there, but remember, other people could be going to the same spot. So just make sure you monitor that area as much as you can. Find out the most intelligence you can, and then move from there. Pick out a couple different spots. There's a million reasons why you want to try to find your happy place. Please hit that like button. I appreciate it. Helps us get out to the world a little bit more. Stay strong and get prepared out there, y'all. Good night, America. SE.